Hello and welcome back. This is Mindy from Paper Creations by Mindy, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created this fun background with a Ziploc bag and my distress inks. Most of my supplies come from 7 Kids Your Crafting Supply store, and I'll provide the links down below the video. You can also visit my blog for more details. I started my background with a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Nina White Solar cardstock. For my distress inks, I'm going to be using Broken China, Worn Lipstick, and Wilted Violet, along with my little water bottle. I've prepared my table already with a crafting sheet. These are great because you can swipe, spray, paint, or just create one big mess, and it's super easy to clean up. So I'm taking my Wilted Violet and just dabbing some of the crafting sheet and then spritzing it with some water. I take my Ziploc bag, doesn't really matter what size, and just crunch it up into kind of a ball of sorts. I dab the end into the ink and then just randomly start dabbing it onto the cardstock. I don't have any pattern in mind, and that's why these techniques are so fun. So I repeat this process for the Broken China and Worn Lipstick. The nice thing about using this bag is the cleanup is so easy. I just grabbed a paper towel and wiped off the ink spots. You may notice that I use distress inks a lot for my cards, in particular the oxides. I can just layer and layer these colors up, and I love how they react with water. The possibilities are really endless when it comes to working with them. I'm also taking this handy tool I got from Close to My Heart eons ago and dabbing that into the ink spots too. It's just to create some random splatters. It's got like a really neat pattern, kind of like a hard sponge or a plastic sponge type deal. So it just created a really nice texture effect, and I use that for the other colors too. So while my background is drying, I'm going to stamp my image. I'm using the Misty stamping tool for this because it's my new best friend. I'm using the unicorn from the Magical Day stamp set from Neat and Tangled. On to the coloring. I didn't go overboard with the coloring of the image too much just because my main focus was the fun background that I did, but I still incorporated some of my basic coloring techniques that I've learned. If you're looking for some detailed coloring classes, I'm going to have one listed down below that I highly recommend checking out, and be sure to tell her that I sent you. I'm also going to list the colors on the screen for you to follow along with, and they'll also be listed on my blog. So for my coloring, I typically always start from darkest to lightest and then just blend out as I go. I wanted the body of the horse or the unicorn to look white, so I'm going to be using my C2, C1, C0, and C00. I went around the image and started coloring with my darkest color, which is the C2, and I just put that where I thought the darkest places or the shadow places, the shadows would be, and then I just worked my way out going from the darkest to lightest. For the mane and the tail, actually, I did the same thing as I did with the body. I went in and outlined where I thought it would be darkest and blended out. I'm using V17, V15, and V12. I chose these color selections because of the colors I used in my background. I tend to pick dark colors. It's very rare that you're going to see me using anything pastel or light colors when I'm coloring. And I guess that's something I'll just have to challenge myself with someday. With the mane and tail, I also go over the coloring twice. This just helps deepen that shadow area and blend it out better. The second time around, though, I start with an N6 instead of the V17. The N6 is pretty dark, but I was looking for that dark contrast. I really like things to pop when it comes to my coloring, so that's why I went with that darker color on the second time around. So while I'm coloring up the mane and tail, I'm gonna just leave you be to listen to some fabulous music and watch the coloring, and I'll see you again in a little bit here. All right, so our image is all colored up, and I took that and cut around it with my scan and cut. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment onto the front of my card. Once again, I'm bringing out the Misty stamping tool. You don't really need this if you don't want. You can always just use an acrylic block. I just personally have found it really handy and very thankful that this was invented. I can't even hang pictures straight in my house, let alone stamp straight. So I just placed my unicorn where I wanted it to go and lined up my stamps around that. I made sure to remove that unicorn before stamping so I don't get any ink transferred onto it. So now everything is stamped and ready to go. I already applied my adhesive